if you are just starting out at the gym and have realized, oh, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I've just started. What exercises should I be doing? How much should I be training? How often? How to lift the weights when I'm actually in the gym itself? Because I appreciate this is all daunting and new for you. Fear not, I have you covered. Here is a result so far of a Gorilla Platoon member who's been with us 8 months now. Started brand new, no training whatsoever, photo on the left, and now in 8 months this is what we've been able to achieve. I'm going to give you the training split that we use for him, but before I do that, I'll give you a training split that you can also use as well. So you'll have two options. One is in a gym, and we actually didn't use a gym for him. He trained at home with some home equipment, so I'll give you that option as well, if you're more comfortable with that. If you're new to the channel, by the way, welcome. My name is Tom Sergey, and I run the Gorilla Platoon, which is an online physique transformation program where we get results like this each and every week, and then we discuss them online so we can take away the points and put them into your own life and training. So let's move over to speaking about what sort of a training split would work well for you. Now, look at training stimulus as a dosage of medicine. You do not need something that's going to cure cancer for your headache. Likewise, you do not need a 5-day training stimulus split for a newborn body that's due to resistance training. You can get away with much less. Think of it as like earning the right to need a 4-day and then a 5-day training split. For you, a 3-day training split will be absolutely fine. Now, when we are, and I'm going to write these down for you, when we are looking at your training split, there are 3 things you want to focus on when we're training. The first one is going to be frequency. So this is how many times per week you will train. For you, 3 times a week is absolutely fine. That is enough. But specifically, you still want to be training the muscle twice per week. So in fact, I'll just make that point there for you. So we're going to go as the point that you want to screenshot. Train each muscle 2 times per week. That is what you want to be doing. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is volume. Now, you can't have all 3 of these. There are frequency, intensity, and volume. You can't have all of them. Otherwise, you'd be on a 5-day training split, like going to All Out Fair. You don't need that just yet. So let's speak volume. Volume is how much. Now, for you, honestly, somewhere around 10 sets per muscle group per week will be absolutely fine. So what that's going to look like is you might train your back twice a week, but you're only going to give it 6 direct sets. 1 on session 1, 1 on session 3. So let's go, how much? Let's go anywhere from 5 to 10 sets per muscle per week. And you could argue things like bicep and tricep for you are going to be hit twice. For someone that's been training for 18 months plus, you need to be doing your arms directly if you want them to grow. However, in the beginning stages, just by doing a pressing movement, you will grow your triceps because it's all new stimulus. So you could argue you're getting direct anywhere from 5 to 10, but that indirect number is also going to really bump that up over the 10 marker. And then lastly, we've got intensity. If he can spell it. No, he can't. And this is how hard you train. Now, honestly, for a brand new beginner, you don't need to go to all out failure. If you are training to a point where it's like, I could have done 1, maybe 2 more, and we call this RIR, reps in reserve. So this is how many reps you could have done once you'd finished the set. For your first 4 to 6 weeks of training, if you finish with 1 to 2 in the tank, that's okay. That's okay. You can progress to that after. But for now, that's absolutely fine. So these are the 3 variables I want you to focus on. Frequency, how many times per week. We want you to hit a muscle group twice per week. Volume, how much. You're going to essentially break the 2 times per week up, hitting anywhere from 5 to 10 sets across the week for a given muscle. And how hard? Honestly, just training with 1 to 2 reps in reserve, progressing onto 1 rep in reserve, progressing onto 0 reps in reserve, all out failure. So now let's give you some structure on. So that's the ballpark we want to hit. Now let's give you some direct structure on this. So how I would break this down, I would train full body. You could, although it would go against the rule of training a muscle twice per week, you could do upper, lower, upper if your focus is an upper body aesthetic physique. You could actually be fine with that. That would work as well. But for now, we'll keep it even more simpler than that. We'll do a full body workout. For this, you're going to draft out 2 sessions, full body A and full body B. Both are going to be very similar, but kind of system movements in there. So one will have a pull down, the other will have a row. One will have an incline press, the other will have a flat press. One will have a shoulder press, the other will have a lateral raise. You see where I'm going with this. And now, when you're going to train this, if it's a 3-day training split and you've got 7 days to play with, I would run it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I would rest Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. Or you could do Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and rest the other days. Either way, make sure there is a day's rest in between, because you need to be able to recover from what it is you're doing. If you went block, and then, if you did all 3 and then 4 days off, it's not really going to give you the same effect. It would ruin the frequency element of the program. Now, let's give you some exercises that you're going to follow. First of all, so full body A, you're going to start off with a leg press. Why? Big, heavy loadable exercise, but very safe and supported. You're a new lifter, remember, therefore we don't want to be doing back squat because it's a complicated movement that takes balance and coordination and proprioception. But if we can do a leg press, your back's supported, your glutes are supported, you're going to pin your hips against that seat holding the handles, and you're going to come down with the foot pad. I would actually even say, I've said 45-degree leg press, so coming down at this angle, and while it is definitely optimal, you could even do a horizontal leg press if this is your very first time doing that, and that you'll still see some great gains off that. Then you're going to go into a pull down version, so any form of lat pull down, essentially just pulling downwards. When you do this, don't swing around with your back. Your torso still, pull your elbow into your hip. Next, we've got lion hamstring curl for the hamstring. So what you're noticing now is we've got a lower push and an upper pull. Then we've got a lower pull and an upper push. Then we've got incline dumbbell press. This could even be regressed to a machine incline press, which I would say do first. But the good thing is you want a little bit of stabilization training as well. So you could do an incline dumbbell press off there. Set the bench at 45 degrees, sternum up, drive the biceps to the pecs. Then you're going to go into a shoulder exercise. For this one, we've got lateral raises, then a tricep exercise, row push down, and bicep preacher curl, either on a machine or just with dumbbells. For the full body B then, so the sister session, we've got leg extension for the quads into a row where it's chest support for the upper back. Barbell hip thrust for the glutes, and then a flat machine press, plate loaded for the chest. Dumbbell shoulder press. Why I've gone plate loaded here is because dumbbells are going to be used here for the stabilization. On the other session, you're just doing a lateral raise a lot less taxing than a dumbbell shoulder press would be. Overhead cable tricep extension. So to train your triceps, you can either do it down by your side or up above your body. And then seated dumbbell curls. That's the training split you'd follow. Now, when you're executing your repetitions, what you want to focus on in your very first stages of training is tempo. This is the speed in which you lift the repetition. So a better example actually would be to do this on the incline dumbbell press. If you are in this position here, at the top, you're going to come down 3, 2, 1, stop for 1, drive back up. 3, 2, 1, stop for 1, drive back up. Why is that important as a new lifter? As a new lifter, you don't really have the coordination, nor do you have the neural pathway of the muscle to lift the load correctly yet. So if you do it rush like everyone else does in the gym, you're never going to build that foundation. Simultaneously to that, this portion, the eccentric, the lowering phase, is where you make a lot of gains on a movement. And if you ever use a dumbbell exercise or a barbell exercise, that is going to be harder or give you more mechanical tension at the bottom because it's a blunt load, and it's the fact that your joints are furthest away from each other. The muscles have to hold them in place. When you press the dumbbell up to the top, you won't feel that much resistance because the joints are stacked. So the load runs through all your joints through the floor. Same principle as if I was to tell you to hang off a wall with a bent arm, you'd be able to hang there a lot less than you would with a straight arm. On something like a machine, though, machines are designed where you can keep pressing and they get harder as you continue pressing. So the first thing you're going to focus on is your tempo. Then after that, you've got things like distance travel to range of motion. But in the beginning, don't worry about going all the way down. The reason for this is because you are weak in those ranges, so you need to earn the right to continuously go deeper. So when you're pressing, you could stop in and around here to begin with, and as you get stronger, you're going to be coming all the way back down into this position here. Then they're the first two I'd tell you to focus on, and then after that, look at intensity. Remember we spoke about reps in reserve. You're going to leave 1 or 2 in the tank for at least the first 6 weeks of training. And then you're going to track and record the lifts that you do. Now, obviously, when members in the Gorilla Platoon join with me, they'll send me the clips of them training on the gym floor so that they've got direct feedback and how to improve and what their body is looking like. So what I would say to you is don't be shy. Film 3 exercises per week. Review them. Come onto YouTube. Find someone that you find credible and respectable. Watch their execution of it. Does mine look like this? No, I'm not doing this. Okay, let's implement that point next time. And every time you train, you're just looking to get better at your ability to execute the movement. The same way a martial artist would perfect his strike or his combination, or him tying someone up in if he's jiu-jitsu. That's what you're going to do in the gym. Because the more efficient you can get in the gym, the more you're going to get out of your effort. Look at your performance in the gym like a light bulb. You can buy those light bulbs that are like 95% energy efficient, which means 95% of them is radiated light, the rest is coming out in heat. But you can also buy the old school ones that obviously don't have that level of, they're not that well built up, and then they exert maybe 40% in heat and 60% in light. Don't make your training that way round, but get very good at execution, then put fuel to the fire after that. Then focus on intensity and putting loads of effort in. But if your effort is pinpoint, if your effort is concentrated, you're going to be able to strike harder and get more bang for your buck. And that honestly is the catalyst behind why we were able to build this much muscle in 8 months as a brand new beginner. This guy religiously sent me his clips of training. I'll do another video specifically on how to train at home with rings. I'll show you his program now anyway. But that's how he's able to build so much muscle, because he was just relentless with sending me clips. I was perfecting them. And then it got to the point where all we're really looking for is, are you training hard enough? Because his execution was so good. That's what can happen. When people say focus on technique, they don't really give you the nuance behind that. What I've just said in this video, that's what this actually means. Let's give you his program example in case you are not able to train in a gym as well. So we applied the same principle with 2 sessions. Press-ups, now this was just on the floor to begin with. Then it was on the floor on holding on to those handles, because it's going to give you a bit more range. Now the guy's doing press-ups on rings with his feet on a chair because he's an animal. RDLs, we used just a bag in the beginning to do this movement, and then progressed on to using like a broomstick with weights on it. Pull-ups has always been in there from start to finish, done on rings. Dumbbell split squat, or we used kettlebells. In the beginning, we had a rucksack on his back and he was doing the split squat there. Tricep dips, he had 2 dip bars, so we were able to do that. Then we did single arm bicep curl and lateral raises. Again, sometimes with a bag, as he bought some kettlebells, we used those. B session, press ups again. Then we did a squat variation where we held the rings and then squatted down. Bent over row was also done on the rings, feet on the floor to begin with, and now feet on a chair. Overhead press was done with a bag. Some form of a curl on the rings as well. So essentially the rings would come down, you'd hold the rings and you curl up with your arms. Hanging leg raises, we progressed to that. In the beginning we were doing into the press up position, feet inside the rings, crunching the knees in towards the hands, and then another curl exercise here. So that was the training split we followed to get him looking like this. We'll go into greater detail in another video about this, but hopefully you found this useful if you are a beginner lifter. Watch this video back to front before you step into the gym, so you're going in there with a place of confidence. Thank you for watching. If you found this video of value, subscribe to the channel. If you want me to do this for you, there will be links in the description. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow.